It was a crisp Friday evening in Portland, Oregon, and the city hummed quietly with the promise of a relaxing weekend. Streetlights flickered along the sidewalks, and the faint smell of coffee and pastries drifted from the corner cafe. In a cozy suburban neighborhood, the Parker household was unusually quiet. Michael Parker, a mid-30s software engineer with a calm demeanor, was sitting on the living room couch, scrolling through his laptop. He had been working from home for a few days, which gave him the chance to notice things he might have overlooked before. His wife, Emma Parker, had told him earlier in the day that she would be going out with her friends. Just a casual girls' night, nothing big, she had said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Michael had smiled and nodded, telling her to enjoy herself. But as soon as she left, a nagging feeling crept into his mind. Something about her excitement seemed unusual. Emma was a thoughtful and honest person, and Michael trusted her, yet a quiet whisper in the back of his mind made him wonder if there was more to this night than she was letting on. The hours passed slowly. Michael kept himself busy with work emails and checking the latest news, but every few minutes, he found himself glancing at the clock. Around 9 in the evening, he noticed her car still wasn't back. His curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to take a short drive to the area where Emma had mentioned meeting her friends. He didn't intend to confront her, he simply wanted to make sure she was okay. The streets of downtown Portland were alive with nightlife, people laughing and talking as they moved between restaurants and small bars. Michael parked a few blocks away from a popular cafe that Emma had mentioned in passing and stepped out of the car. He walked slowly, scanning the crowd for her familiar figure. After a few minutes, he spotted a group of women near the cafe, and among them, Emma. She was laughing, her head thrown back in delight, and she looked different, more carefree than he had seen her in a long time. Michael felt a pang of both relief and curiosity. As he watched, he noticed something he hadn't expected. A young woman approached the group and seemed to whisper something to Emma. Emma's expression changed for a brief moment. It was subtle, but Michael noticed. She nodded quickly, and then the two women joined the others in animated conversation. Michael frowned. He didn't recognize the new woman, and something about her interaction with Emma seemed unusual. Unable to resist, he took a step closer, blending into the crowd. He wanted to hear what they were talking about. At first, their voices were muffled by the chatter around them, but as he got closer, fragments became clearer. Words like secret, surprise, and plan floated through the air. Michael's heart raced. What secret was Emma keeping? Emma's laughter rang out again, but there was a tension beneath it. Michael could feel it. He took a careful step forward, hoping to catch more of the conversation. The young woman who had approached Emma leaned in and whispered something again. This time, Emma's face fell slightly, a shadow passing over her features before she quickly recovered and laughed along with her friends. Michael's mind raced. Something wasn't right. Emma wasn't just having a casual girls' night. Deciding he needed to know more, he followed at a distance as the group moved toward a small boutique in a quieter part of the city. The boutique was quaint, with soft lighting and neatly arranged displays. The women entered, and Michael stayed just outside, peering through the window. Inside, he could see Emma talking to the boutique owner and the young woman he had noticed earlier. There were packages being handed over, and a few discreet gestures exchanged that Michael didn't understand. Feeling a mix of frustration and concern, Michael decided to approach the door. He stepped inside under the guise of browsing, careful not to draw attention to himself. The boutique smelled of fresh flowers and polished wood. Emma didn't notice him at first. She was focused on a small box she had just received from the owner. The young woman from before was pointing at the box, her expression serious. Michael's curiosity piqued. He edged closer and, without meaning to, overheard a crucial part of their conversation. "You have to make sure he never finds out before the party," the young woman said. Emma nodded, a tight-lipped smile on her face. "I'll handle it. Everything will be perfect." Michael froze. Party. Handle it. What was she talking about? He could feel a knot forming in his stomach. He trusted Emma, but this secrecy, this tension, it was unlike anything he had seen before. He decided to wait and see what would happen, determined not to confront her until he understood the full picture. The boutique visit was brief, and soon the women left, walking toward a nearby park. Michael followed discreetly, keeping a safe distance. The park was nearly empty at this hour, with only a few joggers and dog walkers passing by. Emma and her friends stopped near a small gazebo, and the young woman from earlier pulled something out of her bag. It was a small, wrapped box. Emma took it carefully, her hands trembling slightly. Michael's heart pounded. He could feel that whatever was in that box was significant. The young woman spoke again, this time more urgently. "Remember, no one can know. Not even your husband. He'll ruin everything if he finds out too soon." Emma nodded again, her face pale but determined. Michael's mind raced. Why would she say that? Why would she hide something from him, and why would it be so important? As the women conversed quietly, Michael noticed Emma glance around nervously, as if making sure they were alone. Then, she looked directly at the box, and something inside her shifted. She seemed to be weighing a decision, her eyes darting between the young woman and the small, mysterious package. Michael wanted to step forward, to ask her directly what was going on, but a strange force held him back. He had to know more before confronting her. Suddenly, a soft rustling in the bushes startled everyone. A stray dog ran across the park, causing Emma to jump. Her friends laughed softly, but Michael could see the tension return immediately after. The young woman leaned in, whispering again. Emma's face went pale, and she nodded slowly, as if she had just realized the consequences of her actions. Then, Emma did something Michael didn't expect. She handed the box back to the young woman. "I can't do it tonight," she said quietly. Michael strained to hear, his pulse quickening. I can't risk it. Not yet. We have to wait for the right time." The young woman's expression softened, almost sympathetic. "I understand," she said. "But remember, the timing is crucial. Don't let anyone interfere." Emma nodded, clutching her bag tightly. Her friends began to chatter, oblivious to the tension, and slowly, they all started walking back toward the streets, leaving the park quiet once again. Michael lingered in the shadows, trying to process everything he had just witnessed. He had more questions than answers, and one thought kept repeating in his mind. Whatever Emma was hiding, it was serious, and it was personal. By the time Emma returned home, it was nearly midnight. Michael was waiting in the living room, pretending to be asleep on the couch. He watched as she quietly entered, careful not to wake him. She placed her bag on the counter and leaned against the wall, letting out a long sigh. Michael held his breath, waiting for the right moment to speak. Finally, he cleared his throat. Emma jumped slightly, then smiled sheepishly. "Oh, you're still awake?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Michael nodded, closing his laptop. I was wondering how your night went." Emma hesitated, then shook her head. "It was fine, just a regular girls' night." But Michael noticed the slight tremor in her voice, the way her hands fidgeted. He decided not to press immediately. He needed to approach this carefully. Over the next few days, Michael observed Emma closely. He watched her interactions, the little secrets she kept, and the fleeting moments of tension that surfaced whenever she thought he wasn't paying attention. It became clear that whatever she had been involved with that night was significant, yet she wasn't ready to reveal it. Then, one afternoon, Michael received a letter in the mail. The envelope was plain, but the handwriting was familiar. It was Emma's. Inside, a single note read, "Trust me, you'll understand soon. Please don't try to find out before the time comes." Michael's curiosity burned brighter than ever, but he respected her request, at least outwardly. Every day, he found himself piecing together the clues, the interactions, the whispered conversations he had overheard. He knew one thing for certain: whatever Emma had been part of that night, it was about to change everything. The suspense hung in the air like a thick fog, and Michael could feel that the coming days would reveal truths he had never expected. He could only wait, watching, hoping, and preparing himself for the moment when Emma would finally explain the secret she had guarded so closely. And deep down, he knew one thing: When the truth came out, nothing in their lives would ever be the same again. The following week felt unusually tense in the Parker household. Michael went about his routine, but every glance at Emma made his curiosity grow. She moved through the house as usual, chatting about errands and weekend plans, but there was a subtle difference in her behavior, a carefulness, a hidden awareness of his presence. Michael could sense it, though he didn't want to push her. He respected her note, but the unanswered questions gnawed at him constantly. On Thursday evening, Emma mentioned she had to go out again, this time for a small gathering with colleagues. Michael nodded, trying to appear unconcerned, though a small voice in his mind urged him to follow. He waited until she left, then decided to take a walk downtown, hoping to clear his thoughts. The streets were lively with people grabbing dinner or heading to late-night coffee shops. Michael walked aimlessly, but he couldn't shake the images from the previous week: Emma in the park, the small box, the whispers, the sense of urgency. He found himself retracing the path they had taken, almost unconsciously, and before he knew it, he was near the boutique again. The store was closed now, its lights dim, but a small window display caught his attention. It featured handcrafted items, and a few of them reminded him of the packages he had seen Emma and the young woman handle. Michael felt a shiver of anticipation. Something significant was unfolding, and he was just on the edge of understanding it. The next day, Michael tried to focus on work, but his mind kept drifting back to the mystery. Around mid-morning, a familiar envelope slid under the door. Michael bent to pick it up, and his heart raced. It was again from Emma. Inside, a note read, "Meet me tonight. There are things you need to see, but not here. Trust me." No explanation, just the same mixture of urgency and secrecy. Michael spent the day in a restless state, wondering where she would lead him and what he was about to discover. When evening came, he found himself outside a small, nondescript building on the edge of downtown Portland. Emma was already there, waiting, a faint smile on her face, but her eyes were serious. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. "I know this seems strange, but I need you to see this." Michael nodded, following her inside. The room was warm and inviting, with soft lighting and neatly arranged tables. On the tables were carefully wrapped packages, photographs, and notes. Emma led him to a corner where a display board showed a timeline of events, photographs of people, and small annotations. Michael frowned, trying to make sense of it. Emma took a deep breath and began explaining. "A few months ago, I became involved in something important. It started as a project with friends, but it grew into something more meaningful. We've been planning a surprise for someone who means a lot to all of us. That night you saw, it was part of the preparation. The secrecy was necessary to ensure it remained a genuine surprise." Michael listened intently, a mixture of relief and intrigue washing over him. He realized that the tension and secrecy weren't about hiding something negative, they were protecting a meaningful gesture, a heartfelt plan. "The box you saw me handling," Emma continued, "contains the key to the surprise. I couldn't risk anyone knowing, not even you, because it would ruin the impact. That's why I asked for trust. I wanted everything to unfold naturally." Michael's mind slowly pieced it together. The whispers, the careful gestures, the nervous glances, they were all part of orchestrating something special. He felt a warmth in his chest, a recognition of Emma's dedication and thoughtfulness. "I had no idea," he said quietly, his tone a mix of awe and relief. Emma smiled, her eyes brightening. "I know. That's why it had to stay secret. But now you understand, and you can be part of the final moments. It will all make sense soon." They spent the evening going over the plans, the people involved, and the significance of the surprise. Michael realized how much effort Emma and her friends had put in and how carefully they had navigated each step to ensure it remained hidden. He was impressed, humbled by her patience and commitment. Later that night, as they left the building and walked together through the quiet streets, Michael felt a renewed sense of connection with Emma. The tension that had clouded the past week lifted slightly, replaced by anticipation and curiosity. He understood that the upcoming event would reveal the depth of Emma's thoughtfulness and the strength of the relationships she had nurtured. "Thank you for trusting me," Emma said softly, slipping her hand into his. "I wanted you to see everything before it happened. You're part of this too." Michael squeezed her hand gently. "I understand now, and I'm glad I waited. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds." As they reached home, the city lights twinkled around them, and Michael felt a quiet excitement, knowing that the days ahead would bring clarity, joy, and the long-awaited revelation of Emma's carefully guarded secret. The suspense, the waiting, and the small moments of tension had all led to this, an understanding that some mysteries are not meant to harm but to create something meaningful, and that patience often reveals truths far more rewarding than one could imagine. The weekend finally arrived, and Michael felt a mixture of excitement and anticipation. He had spent the past few days reflecting on Emma's words, piecing together the glimpses of what she had been planning. That evening, Emma suggested they head to a local community hall, a charming place with soft lighting, wooden floors, and an inviting atmosphere. Michael noticed the subtle changes in her expression, her usual calm mixed with a touch of nervous excitement. As they entered, he realized that the hall was already decorated carefully with banners, flowers, and framed photographs. A group of people quietly arranged chairs and placed small wrapped boxes on each table. Emma whispered, "They're almost ready. Come, I want you to see everything before anyone else arrives." Michael followed her, his curiosity piqued. The photographs on the walls and tables showed moments from friends' lives, special occasions, and memories that spanned years. It became clear that this was not just a simple gathering, it was a celebration, a tribute to someone meaningful. Friends and family entered quietly, taking their seats and whispering excitedly among themselves. Michael noticed the young woman from the previous week, smiling warmly as she coordinated the final touches. The energy in the room was light and joyful, yet tinged with anticipation. Emma guided Michael to the front, where the centerpiece of the celebration awaited, a carefully crafted display showcasing memories, notes, and gifts that symbolized the deep bond between friends. As the main guest arrived, the room hushed, and the surprise was revealed. Gasps of delight and laughter filled the air. The guest was overwhelmed, tears glimmering in her eyes as she saw the love and care that had been poured into this event. Michael watched Emma's expression, seeing the relief and joy that radiated from her. All the secrecy, the whispered conversations, and the careful planning had led to this moment of pure happiness. He felt proud of her, proud of the effort, and proud of the way she had handled the entire process. As the evening unfolded, Michael and Emma participated in every part of the celebration, helping distribute notes, arranging small gifts, and sharing in the joy of the assembled guests. Michael realized that the tension and mystery from the past week had been nothing but a path leading to something deeply meaningful. By the end of the night, the room was filled with laughter, heartfelt thanks, and the warm glow of friendship and love. Michael turned to Emma, squeezing her hand. "I understand everything now. It was amazing, and I'm so glad I waited to find out the truth." Emma smiled, her eyes reflecting both relief and happiness. "Thank you for trusting me. I wanted it to be perfect, and now it is." Walking home through the quiet streets of Portland, the city lights reflecting on wet pavement from an earlier drizzle, Michael felt a renewed sense of connection and admiration for Emma. He realized that patience, trust, and understanding had allowed him to witness something extraordinary. The suspense, the small moments of doubt, and the quiet observations had all culminated in a memory he would cherish forever. That night, as they returned to their cozy home, Michael felt a sense of peace. The secret had been revealed, but more than that, the experience had strengthened their bond. He understood that sometimes, the mysteries in life are not meant to divide or frighten but to teach the value of patience, trust, and shared joy. And as he watched Emma settle into the living room chair, her face glowing with happiness and satisfaction, he knew that this story, this carefully guarded secret, would remain a cherished memory for both of them, a testament to the beauty of surprises and the strength of love and friendship.